Good afternoon, Floss Tube. It's Pam, stitching between the lines. Today's Thursday, June 2nd, 2022, and this is Floss Tube number 113. Wow. My last Floss Tube was in the middle of May, and I had things to show and things to talk about. A lot of things. Anyway, I have a lot more. It's a good thing I made a mid-month video. I'm looking at my book of days. That's what I reached for, just to confirm the Floss Tube number. And not the date. I didn't even have to look the date up. I was ready. June 2nd. Isn't that shocking? We say that every year all the time about all the things. So, I don't know. So, here we are. I have been busy. What has it been? 2.5 weeks. Very busy. When we last spoke, I was preparing for a trip, and we've been and we've returned. And if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen some pictures. We went to Montana. We went to the mountains of Montana. It was snowing. Yeah. Which I don't mind. It was just, excuse me, it was a corporate reward trip put on by a vendor of a product my husband's company purchases. And so they take they offer this trip to their top purchasers. I don't know. What do they call each other? Whatever. We've been doing it for several years, and they always go somewhere very unusual. And this time it was to a ranch way up in the mountains of Montana. We flew into Missoula. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful country. I love the outdoor kind of ambiance. I like to view it through a big window. And apparently when the right activities are being brought about, I like to be out there in it. Every time we always do something that's like ATV related. And we've had some good times. This time I went, usually there's a business meeting, which spouses don't attend, or guests, or whatever they call us. And so there's activities that just the guests do, and you sign up if you want to. You don't have to. I signed up for an ATV tour, and you drove your own ATV this time, which was loads of fun. It was very cold. I'll put a picture in here. I wore the duster that they provided because as I was arriving at the place where you gathered, it was gloppy snowing, and I just felt like maybe that would help keep me dry. I had on my hiking boots, my wool socks, a pair of leggings, a pair of jeans, a long sleeve shirt, a long sleeve fleece pullover, a down vest, my windbreaker over it, and the duster over it. And I had I had a wool hat, but I was wearing a helmet, so the hat wasn't with me. And I had my fleece gaiter. And I was fine. I had my wool gloves, so and that I was comfortable. That was good, and that was fun. There was a herd of bison on the ranch, and one big boy was crossing the road, so we had to stop, and then the guide took pictures of us each, and I think I was like the second youngest person on that trip, so that was kind of cool. Let's see, what else did we do? We did they always do like really fabulous things, good food, good entertainment, good activities, and we try to take part in whatever they've planned. The next day, I did a spa. I always try to when we're in some place like that. I'll do a sign up for a spa thing. So let me put the picture of the tents that these things, the spa rooms were tents. Picture was not cold until I was done, and I got up to get dressed. I went for a massage, and I saw the space heater that said it was 60 degrees in there. I was cold after that. But whatever. I'm tough. Then we went, we had like an outdoor barbecue lunch thing where it kind of rained. But it's fun. We did the things, whatever it is they brought. I did not do the axe throwing. I will say that. I didn't do that. I was afraid I would, that my old lady joints couldn't do that so well. And then there was another ATV excursion that I had not signed up for, but I decided my husband was doing something that I chose not to do. And I decided to go and see if I could get an empty spot on this ATV excursion. They're different letters, mean different things. The thing where we went and saw the bison, that was an ATV. This was called a UTV, a utility terrain vehicle, and there were room for four in that. And again, all the layers. And we went up to 6,000 feet. Our ears popped on the way up. Where there was snow on the ground, not just snow falling, snow on the ground. And there's an old abandoned gold mine town, because that's what one reason and how things were settled out there was the gold rush. And that was tons of fun. And I don't even know what else. I don't even know. We stayed in a beautiful log home. It was all good. Ate lots of good meat. So anyway, that was where I was headed, and not really explaining. It's hard to explain prior to going. We didn't make the plans. We didn't book things. I didn't have a clear vision of what was going to go on. I mean, I know what I signed up for and what was being made available, but so that was fun. That was a lot of fun. I did not take stitching. This is a whole other saga. This leads to another saga. I have piles of stuff, so I may have to sort a little bit to find things, and some things are right here handy. But this is what I took. Years ago, I don't know, 5 years, I'm not even sure I ever showed this, I started this Crabapple Hill quilt. And Crabapple Hill, this is the second or third one I've done. And it's not done, so whatever. There's all these embroidered parts, and that is where my needlework started when I was about 7 years old. My grandmother taught us how to do embroidery, and my sister and I actually did some pieces of embroidery as a kid. So these are all, I think there's 12 of them, I think. I don't think there's 13 or 14. I don't know. We'll just go with 12. So at some point I had I'd cut out all the fabric for the blocks. And this to me is an easy travel project. Excuse me while I pull it all out. So here's the first piece that I had already had done. So it will be quilted, it will be pressed, it will be whipped into shape properly. I did that piece. I see a big thread. It's stitched with Cosmos. The pattern calls for several different DMC colors, but the shop where I purchased it, my threads are falling out of the box, had stitched it in this variegated Cosmo. So that's what I'm doing. So the saga and the sad story goes like this. Here's the one. I had this box. I had everything in a box. It was funny, ironic, I don't know. It was in the nice shoe box that my Keen hiking boots came in, because it's such a nice box with a flip lid. I didn't bring it to show you. I mean, it's over there, but... So I started, well, first of all, it took me a while to find it. I thought I knew exactly where it was, but I haven't touched any of this stuff since we moved it. If we were still in our old house, I could put my finger on it immediately. I thought it was over here. There's a block of the month in this box. It's got a black top. I thought it was in there, but it wasn't. So I had to do some searching and I found it. And in the box was this finished piece and the cutout fabrics for the next blocks. And I was looking at it and I was thinking about I haven't done the tracing yet. You trace like with a light box, you trace the pattern on. So I hadn't done the tracing yet. And so I was looking through trying to decide which ones to take. And all of a sudden it hit me that I had another one of these started. And I, again, knew right where it was in our other house. It was in a project bag. It was in one of these kind of project bags, also blue. And it was by my chair for a long time. And it was a kind of thing that if I went, like when my church friends get together for like a morning of crafting or whatever, that's kind of thing I would bring. Because I don't need to set up a whole pattern and worry about a magnifier and do all that. I can just do my handwork, right? So I started looking for it. Again, it was in a project bag and there's not much in there. There was this fabric, there was some thread and a needle and maybe a pair of scissors. So nothing takes up much space in that bag. I have looked what I think is inside every single box, drawer, pile of project bags, box full of project bags that I can think of. I've been in my closets of fabrics and through all the, and I can't find it. So, I mean, this was literally hours of, and then I would think, oh, I know where it is. And like in my mind, I could see it in that place. Do you think I could find it in that place? It was not there. I think, oh, I know. I have one of those three-tiered trays downstairs next to the couch where if I'm doing cross stitch when I'm down there, it gives me a place to put stuff. So there's like scissors down there and needle minders and whatever. In my mind, I can see it in there, but no, it's not there. So that was very disheartening because having done these before, I knew that it feels really good to get all the way through and the last ones that you have left are the simplest. So I had done the most complicated. This one, most detailed, and whatever the other one was that was underway. As soon as I saw the picture, I knew which one it was. I have no idea how much of it is done. I'm not sure if I can pick it out of here, nor am I sure I want to, because let me tell you, it about broke my heart. I still haven't found it. So I didn't trace that one out because I swear it's going to turn up someday in the weirdest spot. It's like the kind of thing like when you're packing up your sewing room, like we had to pack up and get the house ready to show. So that involved a ton of bins being packed of anything that was loose and odd and cluttered. And we took those and put those down in our cottage. We had a seasonal cottage before we bought this house. And so it's the easy thing that you just stick in there and shut the lid. I have a tub, like a dish pan pretty much, over on my shelves. And I thought I knew what was in there. And I thought, well, just look. Well, it has like phone books in it, old yellow pages, the big thick ones, because in quilting, Bonnie Hunter uses those for foundation piecing. And so I have a couple because, you can't get those much anymore. And I thought that's all that was in there. Well, I opened it up and there's all kinds of like patterns and magazines, a lot of magazines in there that had been out on my workspace. And which is kind of my style. Like stuff is everywhere because I want to keep seeing it. And then one day I just pick it up and do it. So that kind of kept giving me false hope that I was going to find this thing, but I didn't. So I traced out some more of these to take. And here's the block that I started. That's it. That's all I did. I did a little bit of work on the airplane out. The flights there were very long. We had to fly. We had to take 3 flights, and between the first and second was a 4-hour layover. So I worked on it there, and then the next flight was like 4 hours. So I worked on it on that flight, and that's it. Never touched it again. But that's a sign of a good vacation. I'm not, if I so chose, I could have happily stayed home and worked on some of these, but there were great adventures to be had, and off I went. So this is back home. I don't know what I'm doing with it right now. Like I said, it was very disheartening to realize that a part was missing. Not that I can't recreate it, but darn it all. You get separated from the herd. This is the kind of thing that happens. So that was my travel project. And then I got busy back with my what I keep calling my basket of needs less than a week, which was my May mission, was to work my way through some of those because I knew we were traveling and stuff. So I think last time we spoke, I showed you that I was in the process of working on either this one, and this drives me crazy. This is the floss variegation has done that. This is it's a funny named color floss. I think we talked about it last time. And this was one of my 8x8 New Year's Eve starts, and I left the words out. It's this one. Waxing Moon Designs. And I thought that really I should just do both of them before I considered this like a finished whip. So I did the next one, which I decided, because I was not enjoying 2/2 on this 32 count gingham, that I would go through all my sulky spools and match up and pick out. And there's a needle in here. I can feel it. What the heck? Let me just move that. I'm much happier with the color that is this light blue that like created that shutter and created this blob in there. It's got a weird name. I'm not sure I'm going to see it here. Anyway, so I did this one. I left the words out again. So I just pared down these flowers, and then I just did in some stars. I didn't like the eagle. Nothing against being all American and patriotic and stuff. It just didn't fit my aesthetics up there. So I finished these two. I have some more of these patterns to do. Waxing Moon patterns to do. I'm not doing it on this gingham. So not doing it. Can't make me. In this project bag is at least one. Oh, here's, I have the Patriotic House Trio. So cute. And I have, this one has fabric and threads to go with it. The Christmas Tree Trio. So that's still a project bag full of goodies. But I don't want to call the whole thing a whip. I'll call that pattern a whip. And I also finished Lutin de Noël, which is the elf of Christmas, or whatever it translates to. Collection Tra-La-La. He's so stinking cute. Can't stand it. I did it on this candy cane stripe fabric. Right? Isn't he adorable? As I'm working on it, I can see this as like a rounded stand-up. I'm pretty sure Vanna has a tutorial, and I'm worried though that I didn't leave enough fabric to really round the top. We'll see when I get that far, because I said I was going to FFO while I was finishing these small things, and I am upside down on that. You know what that means, right? I have more unfinished finishes than I started the month with, even though I FFO'd a few things. Let's see. Since we last spoke, I had a couple that I showed you last time. So This is my next finish that was 8x8. All those things I just showed you were on my 8x8 New Year's Eve. I did the floral heart kit. It was a kit. Everything's in there. Not FFOing it. It's lopsided over here because there's a ribbon that goes there. I think once Vanna is, her head's above water because she's having a very exciting weekend coming up that she's going to, I'm sure, need to recover from. I may send this to her, and it's not that I'm not capable. It's just, hearts are hard. Hearts are hard because those two, curved tops of the heart, if you don't get them exact, it shows. So I'm pretty sure I'm sending that along with a couple other things to her. So those were my, well, I have one more, but it's also an FFO. So 8x8s. I have one left, I think. I'll have to look in my book. I believe I only have one 8x8 left on my whip list, and it's the Mary string by Lizzie Kate, which I have here to show you as a whip because I did manage to get one evening on it. So I'll show you that. I FFO'd this, which was one of my 8x8s, the floral cup pincushion kit. I FFO'd it. This was, I actually finished this during my 8x8 work because I worked on the same 8 every day for 3 days. So New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and the next day, the long weekend. And this was finished. So I came with all the finishing stuff, the cup. It was a limited release, market release. It is cute, right? It came even with the pins. Can you see them? I did mine, when she describes her finishing, she says that I used the 5.5-inch circle, just like she said, to go around it and gather it and, stuff it and stuffed it and stuffed it and stuffed it. She said hers fit into the cup. No need for anything else. I had a lot of extra space down here, so I weighted mine down with walnut shells. So my cup is pretty bottom heavy, which is a good thing if you're going to have a needle minder. So this, much love. I have a lot up over my kitchen counter cupboards. I have a lot of enamelware stuff, so it's kind of a style I like. Obviously, this is not going up there, but whatever. It's very cute. So that was an FFO. And then I have a piece. I've started, excuse me while I put the pattern back in with this project. There's enough chaos as it is without losing parts and pieces, right? Okay. So in my book of days, which I don't necessarily keep track of what I do every day, my whips are over here. I have a red ink, and, well, this happens to be a black pen because I don't know where my blue pen went. And all the pages just fell out, which are notes about what were prior Mania projects. We'll retrieve those later. I do write on there what my focus piece for the month is, which in June it's Kingdom of Books, which we'll talk about in a minute. But then I also do this thing where I say, like, I had 0 starts, 7 finishes, and those 7 finishes include one piece that was in suspended animation. Like, it's not a UFO. I just never added it to my whips. It's something that I just started on a whim for whatever reason, and then just, it fulfilled the need. Let's say I needed a travel piece, or I needed something quick and easy to work on for an afternoon when the kids are here and we're watching a movie or something, and I didn't have anything that fit the bill. So I call them suspended animation. So mostly I don't talk about them. I think I've showed this one, but I have one other suspended animation piece. It's my Heaven and Earth design, which I still keep thinking is coming back out. So So anyway, I make notes on what day I finish things and what day I taped a floss tube, and if I started something, so I can look back. So anyway, this is a suspended animation piece. Totally made that word up. Was trying to think of what to call them, and that's what came to my mind. It's like they're a frog, but not frog like we talk about frogs, but things that like sort of go into hibernation, suspended animation. Excuse me. I'm going to throw these away once I've established that I have finished everything that is on my previous whip. I think, oh, not yet. I can see right here. There's stuff still in there. Kingdom of Books and the Mirabilia's Mermaid still in there. So this piece of suspended animation that came back into play was one of Mill Hill's ornaments. It was the Jim Shore evergreen snowman, and I finished it yesterday. No, the day before. It's so cute. A lot of beading. Beading took as long, if not longer, than the stitching in this one. I always do mine. I always just go through the leftover beads and make a hanger, whatever. There was mostly the light blue beads, and I just, whatever. It just make it. This one I backed with a piece of fusible fleece. I usually do felt and some glue and the whole thing, but I ironed the fusible fleece, and I had to put some glue in a couple spots, especially up here because of the thickness of having this guy in there. And then there was another spot that just wouldn't, I think maybe along the bottom, I couldn't make the fleece adhere. But I thought with a snowman, I would do that. So there, I had 2 FFOs since we last spoke, and I took another piece to the framer. So that one's out there doing its thing, getting framed. And then, let's do whips. We'll take care of the regular business of floss tube. I have to reach right over your heads. Excuse me. Actually, this whip ties in to a story. Somebody, and I am sorry, I don't know who, because there have been several floss tubers that have recommended some new floss tubers. And so I went and checked. Well, there's a lot of pieces to this one. I went and checked out the camping stitcher, which I enjoyed that. She and I conversed a bit because she came up to my area over Mother's Day weekend, I think, and got to go to Hobby House. So we talked about that a little bit. And the other one is Needleberry Stitcher Catherine. So Needleberry Stitcher Catherine, she rang my bells right away because she's very organized. And I like a good system of organization. But what I just, I've been stitching for a lot of years. I have what I have. I do what I do. I don't, I see other people, what they do, and I think, oh, I'm not changing what I'm doing right now because it's all working for me. I don't, whatever. So she she had a video. She only has like 6 videos. So at this point today, it's not hard to find the one where she shows how she organizes her dimensions kits. Like, not how she lines them up, but let me tell you, I love how her project bags are all lined up when she sits in her craft room and those cubbies are behind her shelves, and she has her project bags, like kits in project bags like this. This one is like unruly compared to her tidiness. This is full of my Mill Hills we were going to talk about. They're just all lined up, and I kept looking at it. I was in love. I was in lust. I was in something. I was like, I need to have an organization system like that, because currently I have a basket on the floor that's got small things that are mostly kitted up. That's where I just pulled all my 8x8s out of. I have a tub, like one of those not very thick plastic boxes that we bought by the gross when we were packing up to move, that's got like all my current whips in it. And then there's file boxes with files and some order to my patterns, so like either by designer or by season. And then there's heaps and piles of things all over the place. And there's also a little bin with my needs less than a week projects. So there's just chaos, and I don't have the kind of room I used to have, so I don't have like endless. I don't have room to put a lot of cubbies or whatever, but I do have some shelves that I could shift around. But anyway, you're gonna make me have to say it, but I was maybe gonna fess up or not gonna fess up to what I ordered from Amazon that arrived yesterday. This is not one of them. This is one I have. Now, you all know I can make project bags. I have fabulous project bags. I ordered like 2 dozen of these guys because I'm preparing myself. I'm preparing myself for pulling some of the things out of the heaps and piles that are fully kitted projects. Fully kitted, ready to go, could grab them at a drop of a hat, which is something I like to do. I will think I feel like starting something new, and I'll think, oh, let me go see what's in the bin or whatever, wherever that's ready to go, and I'll pull it out, and maybe there's thread but no fabric, fabric but no thread. Well, I'm not pulling threads, I'm not cutting fabric and getting the serger out, I'm not doing all the things. The serger out, it's right there. So I will go through some things like I just did. Like, here we go. I went into a bin full of projects. We talked about my bin of projects that wish they were whips. And these things are in bags like this, and they're fully kitted. Like, the thread's in there, the fabric's in there. So these things are ready to go into those project bags. Here. 5, 6 things I can take off my counter here because they are ready to go. Look, the silks. Come on, stitch this stuff. This one. Oh, ready. Ready, Freddy. This one, also ready. Look at all those threads that are in there. I'm just going to put them on the floor. Excuse me. So there's that. Anyway, so let's go back to Catherine and her organizational skills that don't involve her lovely row of project bags behind her. She did the video on how she organizes her dimensions kits. And I was in love. So I thought, I have organized a dimensions kit or 2 or 3 ready to start using either putting the kit threads on bobbins. Yeah, pretty much that's what I've done. But what she does is she puts them on floss drops, right? That she punches with her punchy thing because, you know, I had to add that right away to my Joann's list. I was so excited, right? I have a project. Look at their supplies I need. Off to Joann's I went and bought the appropriate punchy things. And here's a sample of my tested out punched. I had to order from Amazon cardstock because everything in the store that said it was cardstock was really just scrapbook paper, not sturdy enough. My tags I don't think are as big as hers. They're not as big as these Access commodity ones, but whatever. So, again, I'm like, oh, let me try this out. I had a couple packages of the Access commodity ones. I had some that I got from somebody, I don't know, Etsy somewhere. So I got out my Kingdom of Books because that's my June focus and I've been looking forward to it for a long time. And I have been working from the pre-sorted floss comes on these long cards that come with all the thread hanging off of it and then has a hole above it to put your extra length. Works fine. They have space to put right on there the symbol if you want to. Everything's numbered. They use a lot of numbers. Their floss key. Let me see if I can get this up here because I copied it. Of course, I followed directions. This is what Catherine said to do. She copied it. I cut it out, and it's colored and has a word name and it has a number. We'll talk about that part later. And so everything was numbered, and so it was working out okay, except that I could see that down the road, that long strip maybe wasn't going to hold up, especially since they came folded in half. So there's a hole in the middle that it was only a matter of time. And I'm sure before I actually finished the project, this would happen, that would come apart and that would leave one of the holes, unable to hold threads. So what she does is she gives herself a little clue. Like, for example, I started giving myself a clue and then stopped because this particular project doesn't have a need. Saying that this symbol indicates that it's a full X. If it was a half stitch, you could also draw that on there, so that if this thread was also used for something that was a half stitch, you would know. There's nothing in this project that's a half stitch, and I've already done all the parts that are 1/2. So I don't even need to worry about the fact that this thread might need to not be 3-ply, but 1-ply. So that part was done. I didn't even need to do that. So I sorted out all my floss. I put it on rings. I followed directions, and I made this fabulously organized array of drops. I mean, this is how many this project has. It has 59 colors. And some of the colors have a tremendous amount of floss. They came on 3 long cards of 30 colors each. But 3 times 30 is 90. So there's that many of some of the colors that are that filled one hole after another. This one's kind of bulky and clunky, but whatever. So I paired up some of the holes. Like if this color had 4 different slots on the pre-organized card, I maybe put 2 or 3 of them together. This one actually has 2 whole floss drops for all the colors, and I think this one has 3. So I cut them in half. I made them the length that's very manageable, and it just cleaned the project up beautifully. It did a beautiful job. So I'm all in. Next time I'm starting another kit with flosses. So all this is leading up to, first of all, you need to go watch Catherine Needleberry Stitcher and my June Focus whip. Is Kingdom of Books. Now, I started Kingdom of Books several years ago. I had it on a big frame. I don't even know the name of it, but it's like sits on the tabletop frame. And I didn't work on it a lot, but maybe I'd work for a couple hours an afternoon here or there. And in that time, I did like this stuff. And then I got a little bit more serious and did these 2. I think in parts of Mania. This was, I think, the summer before last. I think the summer before last is the last time I worked on this. But because I don't keep like the most accurate care. But maybe I did this and then this. But this gate with the park behind it is all the one thread over 2. So you get that sort of looked like it's receding. So my June, I was so excited for this to be my June focus. And I started on this. It's on the kit, 14 count 8 or whatever. It'll soften up beautifully. I stitch in hand, although I had this one on the frame. But the frame, I don't have the same kind of space I did before to set up that like tabletop frame. And I'm working it in hand. And one day, which this was a lot of stitching. Yesterday was like a really stormy day. My hands are ready to never stitch again. Very sore, very achy. So I honestly can't imagine. This is 3/1, 3 threads, so there's a lot of pulling. And then I'm holding, like I hold in my hand so that and then I work with this hand. So this is a lot to hold. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. I don't even know the word to use to say what I feel about not being able to just like dig in and stitch on this. Like for a whole month, I am doing this house book right here. Brenda, this handwork maniac, she's the one who I learned from that these are modeled after the houses, the canal houses in the Netherlands, and there's an actual photo that you can see where the gate is that looks into the park, and you can see these houses. And these book titles are, I thought they were Russian, but they're not. They're, sorry, what's the language in the Netherlands? And she had a friend translate them. So anyway, I really was looking forward to, I'm having a hard time like not doing these since I have all these greens out, but my objective right now is, as I'm rolling it up, is not to add any more to this side of the picture so that I don't have like major, it's already going to be bad enough. And sometimes I come at it from, there's a needle in there. I come at it from the bottom. Let's see if I can show you and work. I am just worried. I'm worried about where this is going to go. So I am toying with the idea of finishing this book and then working on, I keep dropping the pattern because it's in its plastic, sorry. But I find it helpful to keep looking at the pattern as somebody talks about the pattern. So this is all stitched. So I'm contemplating finishing this book and then doing the background that's associated with the stretch that I have stitched. And then maybe doing a book a month and whatever is associated with the background that goes with it. We know how projects of like an installment each month works for me. I get tired of it. I get frustrated that I don't want it to eat into the time on the project that's my focus project for the month. And then I end up just finishing it all. Like Kringles was like that, and Lizzie Kate's Halloween Rules. Halloween, that's not the name of it, but it's one of her where you do all the little flip-its patterns. Anyway, so I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Brenda is doing it with a friend, and they're doing half a book a month, and they have it worked out. They think it'll take 3 years. This, I had counted it as about 4 books, given how much work and detail is in here. So, anyway, she started at one of the ends, and she's making her way over, and I'm not sure she's here yet. I'm not sure. So, anyway, it looks so fabulous. I mean, this is just floss that looks, I mean, there's no Krynic in there, there's no filament in there, there's nothing but floss that makes this. I just heard something over. I'm trying to see what's going on outside or inside or where. I heard like a little crash, a little bang. So I don't know what's going to happen. I kind of am disturbed because I have a lot of sewing to do in the next 30 years of my life. I don't want to wear my hands out on one project. So I know I have to take it slow, but which version of slow is going to work for me? That's the conundrum. And then Lizzie Kate. Lizzie Kate was my small, it was an 8x8. It's the very last one I have. It's one of the, I usually pick the focus project and then a lesser project. And usually I finish the lesser project within the month. So Lizzie Kate's Mary String. Is that even upside down? I started it on this fabric. I don't even know what to call it. It has a name. Fabric Flare, something or other. I think I'm going to do it in a drum. But of course, then you can see the color. And if you've heard anybody else talk about this that did it on different fabric, the white is lost. Like I did the letter J in white just to see because I thought it was big enough. Maybe it would show. I've been using some pink in place of the white. I accidentally used the wrong color on these guys, I think. Not that it matters. There's a present here, I think, that's supposed to be white, so I'm going to pull out something else. I mean, it's whimsical. They're like the candy cane. I thought I stitched a candy cane already. But maybe I was looking ahead to the candy cane. I think I'll do it in red and pink. I don't know. So that's not going to take me much longer to finish that. And then I don't know what's coming next. I want to pick out a bunch of small things, I think I said, to like have kitted up and ready to go. My daughter gave me this for Mother's Day. She gave me this pattern, and she made me one of the floss. What are they called? Why do I do this every time we have a floss tube? I totally lose it. You know, you buy them online. You got to be right there on the 1st or the 15th. Let me see if there's one laying around here. So bad. I don't know. They're the cross stitch clutches. She made it. She bought the pattern. She made it. Look at that. The threads. I think I'm going to start this. So that gets a project bag. Yeah. See? It was a good thing I bought a bunch because I have all these things that are just in plastic. And then I was looking around at what I need to do. Well, here's part of the thing is that I got the email from Needle Craft Corner. They're having their June sale is 30% off flosses, but you have to buy 30 of them. So that's when I start. This is how I got so many things kitted up as I did that one year, and never ever since then have I been able to come up with 30 flosses that I could need to kit anything up. So I was looking around at what I've got in project bags. There's nothing in this project bag but patterns. It is 3 of the Stitching with the Housewives patterns are in here. And one more. So I was looking at those, and I went over to my fabric drawers and I pulled out a couple different fabrics. I will give them consideration. I have to look and see about the measurements. I will serge the unserged edges and see what kind of flosses these guys need. See if I can come up with a list of 30 flosses. And then place an order with Needlecraft Corner. Put that back in there. And then I'm peeking around you to see what's here. I have this whole entire pile you're going to go through with me of things. I started, and I found like the first 6 things were already fully ready to be put in project bags. So let's see together what is in this pile. I downloaded this from the Stitching with the Housewives Etsy shop, and I thought I was going to be cute and clever and use this pretty yellow fuzzy stuff, Whisper, on the chick. But the chick's actually 2 different colors. Otherwise, he's just a big blob of yellow. So I, in my mind, hadn't figured out how I was going to differentiate between the yellows. Not important right this second. There's no other threads in it. There's no fabric in it. Here's a piece of fabric put in with a pattern. It is a freebie, so I can't really show you. Here's a pattern that nobody wants to see. Here's a pattern I just left out because I like it so much. Maybe I would be spurred on. Here's one of those patterns that Classic Colorworks does, and you get the floss. Like, I can't turn it around. The pattern shows. It comes with, I think it was their new colors a few years ago at Market. There's no fabric in there, but the floss is in there. That'd be cute. There's nothing in there. No parts and pieces of this. I know where these came from. I was going through a box full of patterns, and this is how it happens. There's a cause, a reason to look through a file, a drawer, a pile, and I pull out the things that I would like to start more recently than others. So look at all the things that I pulled out and have no components to. They need to just go back in the drawer. This is a pattern, I think I bought it on Stash Unload, and then I put the floss with it that I wanted to do it in. Pretty. Love that look of a Scandinavian Christmas. This guy, I saw somebody, another pattern that shows. Use these for the trees, like these would sit with these trees on it. So I had picked up a couple of these at an antique store for like $4 each, and then I found out I had another one, so I got 3. There's no fabric in there. I have fabric, but not for that. Again, here's a couple things that I pulled out that I thought, oh, these would be cute if they were ready to go. This is ready to go. Would take me, what, an afternoon? This was designed by Jen Reagan, Jen Stitching Niche. So cute. There's buttons in there too. The buttons that look like the eggs. That's really cute. Hey, Chickie. I don't know. This has got the fabric and the buttons in it. I feel like somebody gave it to me. Oh, how much I love this. I'm pretty sure that was from Stash Unload. Me, I just loved it. Had to have it. I think I got this not that long ago. This I've had for a couple years. There's across the lake. You can barely see. There's a house or a barn or something that looks just like this. I should take a picture of it. Sort of like the view out my window. This, I thought, we need to go over what the problem is here. Maybe there wasn't fabric in it. I picked it up and, oh, I know what the problem was. I think somewhere, maybe in my files section of my iPad. I should print it out and put it in here. If I was smart. Pretty sure it's not. Oh, it's in here. Maybe I shouldn't go on with this story because it makes me look really scattered. I'm pretty sure I was going to start. I pulled this out when I was pulling out, because I did no pre-planning of the 8x8. I'm just like, oh, that's a good idea. I have this basket full of things. There'll be 8 in there that are ready to go. I think I pulled this out because I had run out of completely ready things to do in my basket of readiness. And I think for the reality for starting it, one thing an hour from noon until 8 p.m., I think this was more involved than I was ready for. The threads are in there. Oh my gosh, you're going to be like, you're going to want to come over here and clean my space up because it is so unruly. Oops. Oy. And I'm going to get something out here, and I'm going to leave it out because it's going to be that kind of cute. And maybe I'll put some of the, I don't even know if I can show you everything that's over here because it's so insane. Some of these I've shown you before because they were in that basket of things ready to start. Yeah, some of these are just never put away purchases or whatever. Sorry. I know. It's kind of mean that I'm not showing you these things. Isn't that the cutest? I love that. I love those. This I bought on Stash Unload. So excited to find it. It is by Bright Needle. Bright Needle, the one Bright Needle designer is from my area. So she used to work actually at the cross stitch store that was the closest to me. When the owner would take Mondays off, she would work. The one of the Bright Needles lady. I took a class once from them. It was the cutest thing. But anyway, this is called the Finger Lakes Sampler. And you know, I live in the Finger Lakes on the lake. So we're all about grapes. Lots of grapes, lots of wineries, New York wines. We're just looking. What I'm gonna probably end up doing is sorting by designer and putting them in their files in their appropriate place. So you got to be looking to see these in my stash. And I'm really bad at stitch along, so unless somebody's dying to do one, like, the chances of me doing it and sticking with it are like slim to none. I love this though. I might have to keep this guy out. I want to do one of these boxes. Love Open Road Abode. Love it. I don't see a whole lot of their stuff. This came out at Market a couple years ago. It reminds me of there's a big old hotel, the Saginaw Hotel. I don't know. I'm going to have to look it up. We don't get in the Adirondacks as much as we used to. Doesn't love that. Patriotic. And another cube I could do. Are we back at the beginning yet? Have we seen all these? There we go. That's the beginning. So, anyway, there's more. I know there's more. Some of these, as I see them, I know we have talked about them. So, oh, golly. It just is overwhelming some days. So anyway, I can't break my hands on Kingdom of Books. I got to take it easy because there's so much to do. Otherwise, I got so much to do. All right, let me just talk about this one. I ordered again from Grammy's. Go back 2 videos and see the link. It's on Etsy. Grammy's Stitching. I don't know. I have to look it up on my iPad, and I'm talking to you on my iPad. I was back looking for something, and I ran across this, which was out of print. This guy. There's a note back here. Covering up what I want to show you. There was an error, so there's a correction. This is like, I don't know. It's not a lot of stitches. I think it's less than 100 by 100. Look how many threads it takes. God. What the heck? Seemed like a good idea at the time, right? Am I right? Did I just say it? It seemed like a good idea at the time. Then last night I was watching Handwork Maniac, who said, this has nothing to do with what's in my hand. It has something to do with I could go get it, maybe. And she said that she just had to, she was watching videos, and every time she turned around, she had to buy something else and start something else. And I said, oh gosh, I'm in trouble. She had like 6 new starts. I'm like, oh no, I'm in trouble. Because it's not that I want to start them. I want to buy them, and I want to kit them. Or if it's kit, I want to organize them in a manner I just learned how to do. Oh, so she had some things. She had some things that I really liked. I'm going to make my way out of here. This is very precarious. If you hear a crash, it's not me. It's stuff has fallen. Admire the quilt. That probably wasn't nearly long enough. Man, oh man, I'm going to have a job in front of me. She was talking about a seasonal montage. Like, there's a full coverage piece that's out by Pain Free Crafts. And there's like each season, spring, summer, fall, winter, there's one. And she bought the Jan Lynn kit. So I'm like, oh no, no, no. I know I've seen it. I know I've got to go look. But I decided that since I had just purchased this kit, which is also a seasonal, that I wasn't going to go buy the other ones, the Jan Lynn ones. I don't know how I came to purchase this. I think I was shopping unsupervised. And I love them all. And of course, I always love the Christmas or winter or whatever season makes it be Christmassy and wintry and snowy and poinsettia like and all that. So this one just came the other day. So I was like, I don't need the montage pieces because I have this. And I'm pretty good with, like, if there's only one of the seasons. I don't feel like I have to do all 4 seasons. I mean, if I did, that'd be okay too. But so that was a new purchase. And then as while we're talking about what's a whip and what's not a whip, I don't think we've ever gone over my Mill Hill collection, which is not vast by any means. I've stitched a lot, and they're already done, and they're things I hang on the Christmas tree or whatever. But if I finished one, it's time to start another one. So I just wanted to do a quick look-see. And maybe with you and I together we can decide what would make a really nice start. I'm not taking votes. We're going to make this decision like right now. I'll hear ya. Ooh, this is... Somebody said this was new. But it's in this bag, and I don't know how long I've had it. Ooh, geraniums are one of my favorites. I love this one. I want to make sure they don't come up open. Oh, that's heavy. Those little guys are heavy. Wait a minute. All right, we got to go back. Oh, different globe. Different snow globe. I have two of something. I think I have two of
found
these.
this on the web.
She's talking to me. She's telling me about shopping for snow globes. She's so diligent. She's so dedicated to me. Well, so far I haven't found anything that is staying out, ready to be stitched. I feel like I stitched this one already, but I don't know. Maybe I've just had it for so long. Look, I have a bead needle, or a needle threader for the itty bitty little beading needle. This is cute. I think I'm going to keep this guy out. Either this one or this one. Let me just look. I think I'm keeping the one with some purple in it out. And we'll give it some, possibly a start. Maybe I'll even add it to my whip list instead of starting it and keeping it a secret for no good reason. I know I have another one or two. I know I have the one where you just look at socks and they're in front of a fireplace. Like, it's as if it's you sitting there with your feet up, and so what you see are somebody's nice big bulky socks, winter socks. That one's somewhere around here. It's in one of those boxes I mentioned that I just collected things in. So I'm leaving this guy out. I'm leaving out something else that's on the floor here that I want to start. I want to start everything. I want to start everything, but I won't. Okay, so what else? What else? I brought my books over here. I don't have a lot to say on the subject of books. Excuse me, still the mess on the floor. I haven't finished anything since I don't know when. I'm reading this one. What is it? Cheryl Woods, an O'Brien Family Christmas. Apparently this is a sequel, like a series or whatever. Somebody wrote this on here that it's book number 8. And it's true, because I put it on my Goodreads list, and it does seem to be. I like Christmas stories, so I don't know. I believe I got it at well, I didn't write on it, so I think I got it at the library book sale. Got this at the library book sale. The partner, John Grisham. You know, I love my good John Grisham. I took this one on the trip with me on the trip and didn't barely read a thing, but I started it on that trip. This one's kind of boring. I don't know. And I'm listening to the audiobook Cokie Roberts, We Are Our Mother's Daughters. Interesting. You know, I always liked it when she did a news story or when she had, things to say. Other than that, nothing exciting. Tomorrow is the first of our library's book sales, so yay! I'll be there. It's on the front lawn of the library. Last year they did every Friday in June, and I went to 3 of the 4. This time it's going to be Friday and Saturday, and I don't know what the other dates are, but I'll go tomorrow. And what they do is they keep replenishing, so, and I like to have a stack of books that I didn't invest a lot of money in, and I turn them back around and donate them back to the thrift store or one of the libraries or whatever. So that. Okay, I'm going to look for my phone. We're going to have a little chat about a stitching piece. So it's relevant, right? I have it on my phone because I didn't want to put it on the screen. I want to be able to really show it and really talk about it and let you look at it. So hopefully this works. But this is a piece by Luca S that I fell in love with, but I keep turning away from it. So I don't know. I don't really have anybody else to look at this picture and have a conversation about. It is this picture. Let me see how much I can get in there. It's called First Kiss, I think. And the things that I love about it, absolutely love, are the colors. Like how vivid the colors of the dress and the boy's sweater and their hats and her beautiful red hair. My oldest daughter has red hair. My kids all have red hair. My youngest daughter fluctuates, has turned brown with age. But my oldest daughter has red hair. My son has very red hair. The snowman's scarf It is just beautiful. And every time I see it, I think I love that thing. Her dress, like, let's see if I can get close enough. Let me see if I can focus. Let me see if I can focus. Her part of the pattern on her dress is like just an outline. I think it's like a reindeer. Let me see. It is so cute. Like the detail is so cute. I love it. And you know, pumpkins is my first and currently only Luca S piece I'm working on. But then here's where I need a conversation with somebody. I can't help but say they're children. And it's just sort of, I don't know if the word is not appropriate. I guess I'm stumbling over the word, what it is that bothers me about children kissing like that, right? Okay, there we said it. And I'm not looking for people to be very extreme. I don't want any kind of extreme comments, offensive comments, nothing like that, because I get to delete those. I'm just like, I want to hear somebody say, no, it's okay. That's just a sweet childhood picture. Or, yeah, I don't know if I could look at that every day hanging on the wall. I don't know. I was talking to my one daughter, and she's like, makes me think of a brother and a sister. Well, and I know she didn't think like, how appropriate is that for a brother and a sister? It was just something about, I don't know, right? I don't know. I just don't know what to say. Except that I absolutely, and like her patterns, I know from the pumpkins, her patterns are so detailed. It's not like I'm going to be able to see the pattern well enough, because in the pumpkin one, you can't even discern that there's a pumpkin. There's just so much pattern, so much symbols, so much, it doesn't take shape until you're stitching it. To do anything different, be able to space them out, say, or look at the focus square is still over there where I touch you don't see it, but I do. It's where the camera tries to focus when you touch the screen. So anyway, I don't know. I need people to say, oh, it's adorable, get over it, or it's just innocent childhood. I don't know, right? We over paranoid adults, I guess. So, holy cow, that was a lot of stuff to talk about for having made a video just 2.5 weeks ago or something like that. But it's been busy. We've been busy. Summer is underway finally. Like, boom, summer, 90 degrees. Yuck. I don't care for muggy. Muggy is not my thing. But the lake is pretty. We're starting to spend more time down there. The usual things. We don't really have any travel plans this summer. We got some things happening close to home, whatever's. I'm very, very excited about that. That I don't have any travel plans really exactly in my focus, on my radar. What else? Cooper, anything else? He doesn't have anything he wants to add. My daughter came and brought her cat for the weekend. 3 days. Cooper got 3 days of kitten play. He's tired. He slept a lot. Now he's, whatever. He's a cat. He's tough. Tough old boy. Oh, now I'm rambling. I'm doing the things. I'm trying to run through my brain and make sure I've talked about everything. My notes are all covered. I've said all the things that I want to say about that. I'm trying to FFO a few more things. I wasn't quite happy with my preliminary work, so I'm not sure which direction those are going in. And that's it. That's all I got. So you'll have to come back and see what I end up doing about Kingdom of Books, and think of me this afternoon as I'm putting my stuff away, because there's a lot of it. And see ya till next time.